Well, good afternoon. I am Lorraine Brock, live here on Tip Tuesday. And today, like every Tuesday, I bring you not only practical and sometimes funny, real organizing tips that you can use in your home, business, or life. We just happen to be in a series of a topic dealing with paper clutter. And today is part 2 of a 3-part series on paper clutter. So if you did not listen to last week's segment, which is part number 1 on paper clutter, make sure you go back and you listen to that, because that is going to be the foundation that we work on from here on out for this series and this episode and next episode dealing with paper clutter. So make sure you go back, read that, be prepared with pen and paper to take notes. That way you can have them when you listen to this segment, and then also next week when we conclude our paper clutter. So paper clutter, we talked about last week that we're not going to be able to eliminate paper clutter. It's going to happen. And specifically, we're talking about paper clutter, home and personal papers. We're not talking small business, coupons for around town, or grocery store coupons, not even kids' school papers. So we're specifically just dealing with home and personal papers that normally, for the most part, come in your home through the mailbox. You can get them at doctor's offices, or with legal situations, you may come in the home with some, closing on a house, as well as things that you're handed off by other people to deal with in your home and personal life. So looking forward to going over today with you all about paper clutter some more. So last week we talked about the 4 different systems, or should I say categories, for the paper clutter. Not going to recant those, but 4 different systems to basically sort and organize your paper, because different types of systems require different different types of papers require different types of systems. So today we're going to be talking about the actual systems of the papers. Now keep in mind the systems I'm going to share with you. A, I either use them all out. B, there is what I call a morphing of one way and another way sort of combined together to create a new system. So there's different ways you can use these systems based on how you look for or deal with papers. Keep in mind, you need a system. So no system at all is not a system. It's just waiting for a problem to happen. And I want to be really clear that we can make adjustments to this based on your personal need. And next week we will take some comments about your unique paper situation and what you might do. So let's get straight into the topics today and the tips, because it's a lot to cover. All right, so tip number 1, which goes with tip number 1 of last week in part 1, is action papers. So I'm going to be showing you a system for action papers that I actually use. This is going to be my system that I use on a daily basis, and it really has helped me. And I've used this system probably since I started Get Organized, at least 12 years, and possibly even a little bit before then. This particular system used to set in my kitchen, because before I had a home-based business, I actually dealt with most of my papers in the kitchen area, living room area. So I had to have a system that would go in that area. I did have a desk space in another room, but it wasn't what I really went to, especially with small children. I needed to be out where I could see them and take care of business at the same time, or maybe they were eating breakfast or having lunch or whatever, and I can take care of my stuff while they're tied down to chairs and not moving. So just kidding. So this is a system that I really love and use. I actually have used this container from day 1, but I have changed the actual colors of the files. And I'm going to hold this. Actually, I want to try to move the camera just a little bit here where you can actually see this. So it's a cube system. It's about a 13 by 13 cube system. It can get quite heavy. Now, when we go into clients' homes, we'll often ask them, do they have a system for their action papers? And most of the time the answer is no. They keep it on a countertop that is just a pile of papers that we call are just postponed decisions. They get a few out of it every once in a while and keep adding to it, and the pile really never goes away. Sometimes that pile even goes into a different room if you're trying to clean off the counters and have a meal or someone's coming over, and it leads to another pile starting up. And eventually, after a while, you have piles that turn into boxes, that turn into lost papers, that turn into missed opportunities, and sometimes it can even cost you. So this has been with me since I really started the systems that I'm about to talk to you about. So we did not invent this system. We create it from scratch for our clients, and it is called a Tickler file. And many of you probably that are older than 40 probably have heard of a Tickler file. They were highly used in accordion file folders years and years ago. Secretaries normally use them. And what we've done is just sort of come up with a different way to use them. And I mentioned that stack of papers. Like, a lot of people don't want this on their kitchen countertops. Totally get it. It's not the most attractive thing. But the alternative is what we see, is we see stacks and piles of paper way higher than this of unopened mail or advertisements or kids' school papers. And I mean, just a plethora of mail and correspondence that actually is setting on that countertop where this might go. Number one, this looks better. It absolutely functions better, and it's going to keep you extremely organized versus that stack of papers that's in the same spot. I think this looks better and it functions better. So what I've done is you can buy these cubes at Container Store, check Office Max, Staples as well. If you get this sort of the wire mesh silver color, you can spray paint it any color you want. So don't feel like you're locked in to this type of color. What's more important, because it's see-through, is making sure that you get quality hanging file folders that are going to be not just quality, but also the design, because this is what's really going to show through no matter what room you keep it in. So you're wanting to make sure it looks good where you place it. Originally, I had a green color, more like a kitchen color, and then when I moved this into my workspace, my office space, I actually went with more of a black color to match the room that the decor is in here. So this is an action system. Again, last week, tip number one, an action system. So how a Tickler file works is there's 43 hanging file folders comprised in here. You don't have to have the manila folder. If you've noticed here, I've had number one on here, and then I also have a number one right here on the actual hanging file. So there's two number ones. You don't have to have the manila folder. I like to, because I tend to be remote often, and I want to grab everything in that particular number. So I'll take it and put it in my purse or wherever I'm bringing it in my vehicle, sometimes on a trip, and I'll take the number that I'm working on, and then I know exactly where it goes back because I just match it with this and I can easily eye where it goes. So that's why I have two. If you don't want to put the manila in there, just use the hanging file. Another option is if you're going to put this in more of a public place in your home, you might want to get some cute hanging files, a little bit more costly, but something like this, with a pattern or something that would look good. You're not going to see a lot of it, but you'll see the very top up here. So again, options depending on your budget and what you're trying to go for. You could even use hunter green, the ugliest of uglies, but very functional hanging files. So again, depends on your budget and the function and the look you're going for. So there's 43 hanging file folders. If you look here closely, you'll notice that there is numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 31. Then after the 31 stops, you get in here to the days of the month. Like here starts January, and then February, March, April, May, June, and all the way through December. So you have 31 hanging files for the days of the month. And in the months of the year, I've actually chose to put them more straight here. So again, I can quickly see where one ends and one begins. So that comprised is a 43 hanging file folder. So how this system works, and this is just something that I have in here. So my April folder, get here. My April folder is completely empty. And this is going to look backwards to you guys in the camera because just the way we're shooting. But this is completely empty because what I've done, I've taken everything out of the month of April and I've put it in the corresponding day that I need to work on it. Now, some pieces of paper will be very date specific, like a wedding invitations. If it's a wedding out in the country and maybe your nav system won't work, then you're going to have to take this map that came in with a wedding invitation and there's a physical piece of paper that goes with it. You're going to put it in here on the day of the wedding. But there's other things that are subject to when it gets done. For example, it might be a brochure that you picked up at the state fair to inquire about a special type of shower or carpet in your home or flooring. And you know that you're absolutely not going to do it at a particular date. It can be really done any day. Well, you can put it in any day that you want. And again, for that particular month. What I would suggest is anything that you put in here, and we're not getting into this in great detail, anything you put in here in one of these dates has to be very date specific. So you need to really make sure you have time to do it. For example, if I'm going to research that information on the brochure and I'm busy a particular day from, 8 to 8 p.m., probably not going to choose that date by looking at my calendar to put the brochure in that date because I'm totally busy. I won't have any time anyway. So always look at what's on your calendar and identify what actually you can do on that day. Just don't throw it in a date. Maybe that activity or that brochure, let's say, for the flooring or the shower, you're really firm that you're going to make this purchase. Well, you'd make the purchase maybe based on a payday, maybe based on something else, a tax refund. So you'll put it in the system based on when you need to access it again. So keep that in mind. This current right here, the 1 through 31, is for the current month we're in right now. So today we are in the 23rd of April. 23rd of April. And then obviously it goes to 31 if you have that many days in the month. So when you put something in the month, that just means at the end of the month, like for example, at the end of April, I'm going to take everything out of my May. And you'll see here, May's got stuff in it. I've got to deal with this stuff in the month of May. At the end of April, I'm taking everything out of this folder and I'm going to put it in the day that I'm actually going to deal with it. And again, I'm looking at my calendar to see if I have any flexibility on what days I'm more available than others. And then also I'm looking on here to see if there's very date specific things. For example, here is some information that I know that goes to our doctor at Baylor Scott & White. And I have a little sticky note on here that says, take to Dr. O. And we just shortened his name for the video, but Dr. O. So when I get this out, I'm going to look. We have a doctor appointment coming up for this particular doctor in the month of May. So I'll look on my calendar, figure out what date it belongs in and slide it into that date. And then the day I'm leaving that night before the morning out, I'll grab this and it'll go to the doctor. It's just not laying out on the kitchen countertops, or it's not just laying out in a pile or magnetic or attached to the refrigerator. It's actually in a system that I look at every day. Even with greeting cards, if there's something that you bought a greeting card for someone way ahead of time and you don't know what to do with it, put it in the system in the month that you're going to give it to them, and then take it out and put it in the day you're actually going to give it to them after you fill it out. This Tickler file is great. People that the Tickler file is not great for is people with ADD or ADHD. I'm going to use those interchangeably. People that don't have a lot going on. If you are empty nesters, you don't own your own business, you're not involved or volunteer very much with any organization or your church, then this would be an overkill for you. The Tickler file would be not a system you would want to do. You don't have enough to go into it. But if you're a small business owner, if you handle the bills and all the stuff that goes on in your home, if you volunteer a lot, if your kids are in school, this would be a great system for you. In my household, I've always handled all the bills, all the correspondence with any issue, medical, house related. That's just sort of my role, my responsibility. Now, in addition, I handled all the kids stuff and the field trips and the forms to fill out and volunteer stuff. It didn't stop. So this system has worked for me well for many years and continues to do so. So I like the Tickler file. Again, 43 hanging file folders, and you'll need to decide on which month you're going to deal with it if you're not going to deal with it that particular month, because this part here is for the current month we're in. And let's see, I'm just curious, I did not look. Let's see if I have anything in other months. Actually, I do. I have some things in the month of November. What would they be? I don't know. Okay, so I have okay, I can't show you this, but I have a greeting card for someone that I'm probably going to give for probably a birthday. I've already bought it. And then this is something, a little advertisement that came in the mail that has our name on it. Just this little, I know it's backwards, but I like these. Can't say anymore. I like those. So I have it there, and it's in the month of November. Let's see if I have anything in December. Nothing in December. And so some months I'm not going to have. I have some things in September for sure. Yeah, totally some things in September. So it is long-term, it is short-term, but every single piece of paper that goes in this system, one thing is in common. Everything in here can be completed in one day. That's the key. Everything in here has to be completed in one day. This is not where my projects goes. These are where my actions go that are short term. And this is an excellent system. So I would keep this. If you open your mail in the living room, watching TV, it's not going to be great for company, but you could have one of these in your living room and move it when someone comes. Keep one in the kitchen, the butler's pantry. You can keep one, upstairs if you open mail there, or downstairs if you have an office. Just figure out where it goes that you can look at it daily and possibly put into it daily as well. Next week, we're going to have a super, super tip about this system and about using your calendar, how they sort of talk to each other. Critical that you watch next week, whether you use a paper calendar or you use a digital calendar, you're going to want, because you've got to make this easy for yourself. And I can't cover everything in 1 or 2 segments about this. So tune in next week and you're going to learn a little secret about how to get what's in here. Maybe we're at a point you won't forget that it's in here, and we're going to talk about it again, a little bit of time management next week. So this is the Tickler file, and that is our tip number 1, showing you how that Tickler file works. Now, there is, and then we're still in tip number 1. There is a system that is more of a morphing system. I used that word a little bit earlier ago. The morphing system is taking 2 different types of systems and sort of combining them into one. So we're going to come back to morphing in our final tip, and you'll know sort of what I mean, because you got to know that there's a solution between tip number 1 and tip number 2 that we're going to combine together. So tip number 2 is going to be your projects. So last week, and this is not my actual projects, this is just a sort of a demo that I use when I do a lot of speaking and teaching on this. Projects are going to be your actions, but they're not going to be one day like the Tickler file. They're actually going to be more long-term in nature. Things like preparing and sending off your kid to college, or remodeling a bathroom, or planning a vacation. Anything that has tangible pieces of paper in your life that it becomes a project that you're not going to be able to knock it out in one day, but you will be able to knock it out in a few days or a few weeks or a few months. This is just a particular product that you can get at Container Store. It's not anything special. It's just something that I have used. I do like it because it can set on your desk, as well as if you look over in the back part here, it has hooks here where you can put it on the wall. Keep in mind, one of the most trendy looking things that I think you can put on your wall that looks fabulous in most homes that can hold your projects is wrought iron wicker type baskets. They could be a little wiry looking as well, like farmhouse flair. You can get those at Home Goods. You can get them at Marshall's or Ross's. I'm just trying to think where we've seen them at. They have really trendy, good looking ones that will normally be a little bit taller and have different dividers. And you can hang them in your kitchen, on your wall, or in a hallway, or by the front door, someplace where you can keep your projects at. This is definitely a little bit more officey looking. I'm just giving you an idea of what you're looking for, but you definitely want it to have this cascading ability, whether they're further apart or at this close together. Also, because this is going to be setting out, you're going to be able to visually see your projects. They're not going to be hidden in the back of a room and in the back of a desk in a room you hardly ever go to. You're going to want to have some really trendy, cute folders because, again, you're wanting to go with the room or the area that they're going to go in. These happen to go to the Container Store. I think they have an outstanding supply, but you're going to pay a little bit more for them as well. You can look at office supply stores or even Amazon, and we've got some files like this to give away from last week. We're going to do that a little bit later. So find the one that fits your area, the decor that you're going to be keeping this or something like this in. So how the project systems work is very simple. You make I'm going to call these vanilla. It's not a vanilla. It doesn't even taste like a vanilla. It's more of a chocolate. My favorite's Rocky Road. Don't know about yours. Okay. But these are manila type folders, even though they're not actually manila. What you want to do is on each one of these tabs here, you're going to list what the project is. And I mentioned a few while ago. Maybe you got your remodel, bathroom or master bath. Could be a vacation Colorado. Could be a ticket. We talked about that on episode 1, getting a speeding ticket and you're having to deal with it. So you divide out your projects into folders, and that's going to help you keep track of all the papers that go with that project while you work on it. And if you know, projects are not completed normally like that. That's why they become a project. You're going to work on them over time. So that means every time you need to work on this project, you pull your folder, your information's in it, and you can work on it and then put it back and continue to do so until you've actually finished that project. Now, once these projects get finished, you got a couple things you can do. It could be shred, you're out of here, you're done. 2, you may be handing the papers off to somebody else. Or 3, maybe there's no more action to go with them and you're just ready to file them away, which will be our tip number 3, which is reference. Your reference papers many times will get your project papers when they're completed into your reference section. So let's talk about tip number 3, reference. This is going to be something that you guys can get from us if you so choose to. Just keep in mind that we do sell these for our clients, and we've done a lot of research, and we have decided that these are 2 great companies. One company is really no longer making them, and we're selling what we have, but I actually have their system in my file cabinet. I love it. Another system is something that we found as a replacement. It's different. I think it's great. It's just different. And either one of these systems for reference systems will be great. Now, again, like you're going to see, because the way we film Tip Tuesday, it is backwards if we show any kind of lettering to you. And you're saying, whoa, that's not backwards. Well, I look at it and it's backwards right there. But you guys look at it, it's not backwards. So we sort of fix that problem. Okay, so the first system is, I'm not going to have set up working pictures of these, so I'm going to actually show you the system. The first system is a system that we call File Solutions. It comes with 2 books. It comes with this book, which is more of a binded book, and then we have one that's more of a pamphlet type book. how the system works, it comes in 4 different colors. So I'm going to show you some labels here. These are sticky labels that would go on manila folders, and you have green is financial, blue is, or purple is like lifestyle, blue is taxes and information, and the red is more personal documents, personal home and personal documents. So those are the 4 categories that this system divides out all your reference papers. And just remember, we are quoting the words reference, meaning like more like file cabinet papers that you can use in your file cabinet. So now is the time to get one of these systems and totally remake and redo your file cabinet. So how the system works is it has 4 colors, like I mentioned, and each color has, like the red section has a P1, which is personal papers, folder number 1, and it goes from P1 to P21. That means that there's 21 different possibilities, different categories in the personal section, which is red. And those sections can range from child care services to education to elder care, genealogy, home maintenance and repair, legal affairs, medical records, different than medical bills, and so much more. When you get into more lifestyle, and you're never going to have all these categories, no one ever does when we're setting this up for our clients, but in lifestyle, you'll have things like gardening, gift ideas, keepsakes, pet records, religious records, and so much more. In travel, vacations, you may never use all these, but they've made a category just in case. So this book tells you where to file it in the system. What's super awesome is this little pamphlet book tells you where to find it. I'm going to give you an example. So if we go under, if I look in this book under family tree, or I choose to look under genealogy, basically it's going to redirect me to genealogy personal file number 8. So I can look it up with different names, and the booklet sort of knows what common names are used, but both of those names are going to direct me to one particular folder, which would be in the red section under genealogy P number 8. So it's like a no-brainer, because if you were in charge of doing all the filing in your home, well, what if something happened to you? What if you were sick, in the hospital, whatever, and someone else has to come in and find stuff? That might be a game for many of your guys with your family, but let's assume that's not what we want to do, is continue to play a game, is let's get the same system that everybody can use. So you might call it auto or Dodge or truck. Somebody else may call it car or vehicle, or maybe the loan name if there's a loan on it. So with this system, everybody works under the same names in the categories, so it keeps everybody on the same page. It comes with all of your labels, and I'm only going to show you the blue ones here, but they're all perforated. There's even blank labels here, both for the stickers for the manila folder ones, and also these are the ones that go into the hanging file. They're the 3.5-inch ones, which means the labels are larger. You can see them easier, especially as you get a little older and you need those reading glasses. They're not the little tiny labels, and they're easy. You just fold them down and tear them and slide them in some clear tabs and put them on hanging file folder and put them in your folder. So this whole system runs $40, and that does include tax. If you want one of these systems, I will ship it to you at no cost. That means basically we're eating the shipping of about $6 to $7 to probably $7 to get it there to you. So you're going to pay $38 for this system. $38 for this system, and we will eat the tax, not eat the tax, but let me start over. $38 for this system, including tax, and we'll eat the shipping costs to you if you prefer to have this one. Wait, we got another one coming up that I want to show you. And you say, Lorraine, what if I make my own system? You can totally make your own system, but how much extra time do you want to spend trying to come up with names that everyone knows? making all the colors, buying all the supplies, doing all the research, going to the store, and you still don't have these books and the pamphlets of how to cross-reference them. It's an outstanding system. So again, $38 if you're interested. Leave a message down below, then we'll private message you to get you a copy sent out and get your address, and we will cover the shipping to send it to you. So that's one of the systems. Now, we have another system that's exactly the same thing as far as a file cabinet system. This one's called EasyFile, and again, it's going to be backwards in the video. The makers of this, it's a little bit more homemade looking versus the other one we saw, but it has a lot more bells and whistles than the other one has. So I want to sort of show you. It comes with this book that goes over way more things than I even have time to even cover with you. But it gives you examples of what goes in each folder or each hanging file. It gives you examples. It shows you the colors and what things would go. In addition to that, it comes with, and this may be a selling point for all you guys, it comes with a little booklet called Internet Passwords and Codes that comes with a system. If you don't have that organized, great way to start is by getting this pamphlet, which comes in this system. It's included. Like I said, it has way more bells and whistles. It also comes with a document that we have worked with the makers of this system to absolutely make it more at our level. So it was a great product, but they allowed us to come in and we got to really make changes. I think every change that we've suggested, they have made. And it's made their product better, and it works for us because we know as organizers what worked for our clients. We're thinking of every client we have, not just one. So also it comes with a document that says where to file it. Very similar to the other system on this book. Let me show you. Very similar to this system with this book. We just made a color-coded system that basically says where to file it, and it's double-sided. This will always stay with the system, so you can always reference it. Additionally, it comes with all the stickers, and I'm just going to show you two colors. One is the green, and of course this one, I think this actual system has a lot more colors. The other one had 4. I think this one has 6 or 7 colors. It also, too, comes with all your label colors already made for you. All your labels, you can see there, like that one says investments account, already comes there. They're already pulled apart for you, which makes it easy, no tearing. And what is also is pretty cool, as we've included in here with them a section of white stickers for all of your appliance manuals, electronic manuals, kids' toys, jewelry, so forth. So if you create a system outside your file cabinet for your manuals and your warranties, all the tabs are already made up in every category you can imagine, indoor, outdoor, kids, no kids, whatever. It's just great. So this system is extremely, extremely good. This is the one that we mainly use for our clients now, though we have many of both of them. It's just really a system that we're trying to go over to since the other one is not really being sold anymore, but we have a large stock of them. The makers are 2 different companies and 2 different ways that they're organizing the files in the system, but either one you will absolutely love. Now, on the EasyFile, it also comes, let me see if I can find it here. It also comes with a, did I put that in here? Maybe not, because I'm disorganized sometimes, just sometimes. It comes with a sheet of paper that basically is a whole bunch of stickers. And you put these stickers on like index cards, and you lay the index cards out like on a bed or the floor, and it basically puts the stickers into categories so it's easy for you to sort papers so you know how to get your paper sorted before it goes in the system. It's so, this again, EasyFile has so many bells and whistles that the other one doesn't have. So with that said, the EasyFile we sell for $40. It's $2 more. It does more than $2 worth. I mean, it just does way more than the other system does. Little bit different look, a few more colors than just the 4 from the other. This one is $40, and we will too also ship this to you. We'll eat the cost of the shipping if you want a copy of this one. However, This is the one that I have in my file cabinet, and I love it. It's very professional looking. It has the professional books where it's already vetted every possibility. If I had to choose which one for you guys to go to try it, I don't know, they're so close, but probably this one, only for the factor if there's so much other stuff that comes with it that you may not use it, and so why get it for just a couple dollars more. And this has the professional book, so it makes it a little bit easier to read. So, all right, so those are our two systems, and incredible systems they are, and I'll mention the deal at the very end again. Okay, so let's go into tip number 4, which is more so for your archive papers. I didn't set up a system for the archive, but just know that there are containers very much like this that you can get that can go in the attic or elsewhere. I recommend if you're able to put things up in the attic, just because archive papers are not going to hardly ever be used in case you get audited or something. So archive papers need to go. Don't put them in your file cabinet unless you absolutely have the space, because that is your prime real estate area, and you don't want that to already be stuffed with things you may not ever use again if you're really struggling for space. But in the attic, this makes them easy to get down because it's not so weighted with papers and you have a handle on it. If you get the larger paper file boxes, they don't have handles on them, but you can get them if you really want to. Just make sure they have snaps on the end of the containers so you can actually get a good seal on that. No bugs get in, and then when you lift it down from the attic, if it's up high, then it most likely won't open because it's clamped on more securely. But I would recommend things like this. You might be able to put some archive paper for multiple years in one of these. It just depends on how much you do, but definitely label that which archive papers are in there: past taxes, legal affairs, divorce records, child support, that kind of stuff. Really, really good thing to do on that. So that is tip number 4. And then last tip number 5, we're going to talk about that morph system. So I have a morph system right back here. This is just I think it's container you can get at Container Store. It might be Walmart, but I think it's Container Store. And I've just used hunter green folders here. Nothing that's beautiful, just as simple as possible. This is a morphing between project system and action system. Actions can be done in one day. They're short-term actions. Projects are actions, but they're going to take more time to do it, like days, weeks, or even months. This is sort of combining them into this. And just hear me out. It's not for everybody, but here, this has got months in here: January, February, March, April, May, all the way through December. So you've got your months in this one, but no days. Behind that, you've got your categories that basically it's like your projects, but you can add to this. For example, we have one for each child that may be in your home still that you're dealing with papers or other things for them. We have school information. We have takeout menus and coupons. We have bills that need to be paid, house project papers, bills that are papers that need just to be filed. There's no action. You open up something, you're like, oh, it's great to see that, but I don't need it. Put it in the to be filed. When this gets full, you switch it into your file cabinet. It can have one for taxes if you're collecting tax information at the end of the year for the next year's taxes. There's all types of things you can do here, and these labels can be changed. They're just standard things that we often see, but it can definitely expand into other. This is definitely smaller. If there's no date specific on this, there's not. There's a month that you want to deal with it, but it's not date specific. So sometimes there's a tendency for this system to get a little fat because you're putting things in there, but you're not as disciplined to get them out. It also can work with your calendar as well to help you. Again, we'll talk about that next week. But this might be a system. It doesn't take up as much room. You can make it look really cute. And it's just, like I said, it's a morph system. I don't even have a name for it. We just call it, hey, it's a morphing of two systems together. So that is that system. All right, let's see what we have. So that is all of our tips today about paper clutter. Remember that next week we're going to be talking about some tips about our calendar and working with paper clutter. And we're also going to have a document that we'll give everybody that will help with paper retention. Like, how long do I keep this stuff? So tune in next week and you can get a copy of that. All right, so on to the next thing. We gave away last week, or was giving away, some file folders like these really cute things. Remember I told you, any kind of filing system that you have that's everyone can see, especially in your home, really like anything that's sort of trendy and looks cute. Goes with the decor of the room. These were actually one, and I'm going to try to pronounce the name. I think it's Hema in Murphy, Texas. Hema. Congratulations, you have won these file folders. So if you will check your messaging through Facebook, you will see that you got a message from me, and get your address, and we will mail these out to you early next week. And thanks for making a comment down below for last week. All right, so our giveaway this week is, and we did a while back, we did a segment on labels. And sometimes when we do segments, I give away different things. But this right here it's called Chalk Tie Tags with Cotton Twine. So these are chalkboard labels that actually have a little hole right there. And there's twine inside here. You can see that right there. And you can label things. So that means that the tag sort of hangs versus sticks. So we're giving away these. And how do you win this? So what I want you to do is leave a comment down below of which of the 5 tips you really, really would like to hear a little bit more information on. Like, we're talking about systems. So it's not the best tip this week. It's just the tips of the 5 tips. We've talked about action systems, project systems, reference systems. We've talked about archive systems, and we talked about the morph system. There's 5 tips. Which tip would you like a little bit more clarity on, so I can take that feedback and address it next week? Leave a comment down below. And if you do, then you will be in the drawing if we pick you next week to win these. And we'll announce you next week on Tip Tuesday right here. Okay, next up is our Tip Tuesday tool of the week. Now, every week we do a tip of a tool that we like. It could be something I see at a store, something that I use, something I saw on TV, and I'm obviously going to test it before I tell you guys. And really, really like this next one. I was actually shopping with one of our organizers last week, and I saw this, and I thought, oh, this is really, really a great tool that it's not vastly, well, it's very unlimited in how you could use them. But I don't see them vastly used a lot. I don't see a lot of people using them. So I wanted to show y'all what's in our Tip Tuesday box of the week. Okay, here we go. So these are just a couple of different sizes here that I picked these up at Container Store. We happen to be in there doing a little bit of window shopping. We trade all of our organizers of all the products at every store. These happen to be ones that just open up. There's no hinge on them. They come in like, I don't know, probably like 10 different colors. I just picked up 3 of them, and I think these were like 59 cents a piece. And what I thought is like, well, how can clients use these? And of course, they come in all different shapes and sizes. And this one particularly, the lid comes off. You've probably seen these like on teacher's desk. They come in square, rectangle, tall, medium, flat. So I'm not really going to talk so much about this size, but just know they have so many purposes. And if you go on the Container Store's website, and I think I typed in colorful plastic containers, you'll start seeing some of these as you scroll down, and then read the reviews. 5-star reviews out of, I think it was 1,500 reviews of these type products. And the great thing on there is the people that had used them, like you and me, just everyday people. We're not part of the store. We're just truly putting them to practical use. They gave so many great ideas and even pictures with some of how they've actually used them. And it should give you plenty of ideas to use and get organized with. What I thought about these particularly, though, I thought about, well, what if you put the kid's tooth in here for the tooth fairy? You could even write a little note if you wanted to and put it in there, you know, a little bitty what day it came out. Or do you even keep your teeth from your kids? Does anyone keep their teeth, their kids' teeth? Or do you have your teeth when you were a baby? I actually have my teeth when I was a baby. What the heck do I do with them? I don't even know. But for some reason, in all my boys' keepsakes boxes, they have all their baby teeth in there. Who knew? Oh, yeah, sorry. The tooth fairy sent them to me. That's how I got them. All right. Another option you can do with these is to use them for like stud earrings. These were the two common things. One was the teeth, giving them to the tooth fairy. Yeah. And the other one was jewelry. You can put in, even if you don't use the top, you could use the bottom and set them inside of a rectangle or square container. And you would just line all of these up and you would be able to take them out and put them in. These would even fit in there as well. But another thing, keep in mind is, and I read this, so I thought it was great. You could use each of these colors for different styles of earrings. For example, maybe these are more your Valentine, romantic type red earrings or heart-shaped, where this might be more your summer ones. Blue might be more of your winter snow ones. And they organize their earrings based on the color of container, which I told you they have a lot. So anyway, I'm just throwing this out to you as options. We might even give these little containers away. They're going to be easy to mail because they're lightweight. But anyway, that is our Tip Tuesday tools of the week. That's great. Okay, on to the next thing. So next Tip Tuesday will be the end of our 3-part series on paper clutter. So tune in. Again, if you have not watched part 1, please do. You're obviously watching part 2, and then we'll conclude next week with part 3. And, you know, there's probably going to be more paper conversation that we will have. So if I don't answer all your questions next week, and again, prepare your questions if you're going to tune in, because I will take questions next week and I will be able to answer them for you. We can obviously add a segment in there down the road a little bit more for paper clutter. All right, so I want to talk about, I always talk about a service that Get Organized. And obviously, you know, we can organize your papers, not a problem. But that's not really what I want to focus on today. I wanted to focus on, and I've mentioned this a couple times, is our IT organizing and photo organizing services. We have got an awesome young lady that has come on to go, and she is an IT photo organizer as well as a IT digital organizer, whether that be for photos or whether that is for music or videos. But the main thing I wanted to focus on today is email organization and setting up your rules and accounts. If you are having problems with your accounts, like you don't know what account is doing what, and you have got multiple accounts and that's just completely disorganized, like when you upload photos maybe someplace, you don't know where it goes, that's probably a good place to just pick up the phone and call us. And at the least we can do, how we start off is come in and do a 2-hour consultation. It's in your home. It is a working consultation. It is the exact same price of our regular consultations, which is $150. And again, we can sort of peek inside, see what's going on, and maybe even fix a few things there at the same time, but then create a plan of action of how we really want to get your IT and digital world really structured and organized for you, where you can go in and type in just something you want to see, a Christmas photo of Ben, and you can go in there and see that. I mean, it can be that easy. So if your accounts are really messed up, if you don't know where your stuff is being uploaded or moved to or downloaded to, if you have emails like just bleeding out your ear and you don't have any way to sort them of what's really important, what's not, and getting rid of things, and you want to switch email accounts, we can set that up and do that for you as well. We can implement some rules in there that would help eliminate a lot of the email clutter, and again, begin that process of getting your digital and IT world organized. So just a little something on that, and let you know that we do have great people that can help you with that. So hey, don't forget that we are giving away these chalkboard tie tags, and we're going to give that away if you make a comment down below of which system of the 5 systems or 5 tips that we mentioned today. Go back and listen to them if you're just going to the end of the video. Which ones would you like a little bit more clarification on? And we'll sort of talk in depth about that next week. And if you leave a comment down below, you'll be entered for the drawing to receive this, and we'll announce you next week on Tip Tuesday if you have won it. Well, I think that's it, ladies and germs, and I've really enjoyed speaking with you. It has been a blessing, and again, I love paper. Y'all know that. Absolutely love paper clutter. Well, I mean, I don't like paper clutter. I just like dealing and organizing paper clutter. That's probably what I should have said. I'm not like going to come to your house and make paper clutter just because I like it, so I didn't want you to take it that way. But anywho, I guess that's it, guys. So leave a comment down below. We look forward to speaking with you next week and seeing you here on Tip Tuesday. I'm Lorraine Brock, professional organizer with Get Organized, and hope you enjoyed our Tip Tuesday. Goodbye, guys, and have a great day. Bye-bye.